In this video, we'll be going over tension, or the tightness of your stitches, as well as yarn under versus yarn over, or X's and V's. What's that all about? So you may recognize this lovely pink lady ice cream cone. I made a little video a few weeks ago showing her creation. What you may not know is that I had to make the cone 2 times for this project, all because my tension was not uniform with all of the pieces. The pink ice cream parts are fine, but the cone turned out too small to actually fit. I did mention in that video, and there is a link to it below, that the yarn I used for the cone was a different brand than what I had used for the ice cream lumps. Both are a similar weight. However, the tan color, which was Impeccable by Loops and Threads, and the pink was a Craft Smart, with the Impeccable, it's a little easier to get a tighter stitch. So if you, or me, it was me, if I don't pay attention to my tension, the stitches can get too tight and then the size will be off as well. And that is exactly what happened. So at first I had to check my stitch count. Thought maybe I just missed a round somehow. After checking my pattern notes, I see that was not the case. The cone and the pink lump both have the same number of stitches, but as you can see, they are not going to be easily sewn together, at least not without something getting very, very wonky. The only way to fix this issue is to make another cone, and this time to be more mindful of my tension as I'm working. And side by side, you can see how much of a difference tension can make with a piece. One isn't particularly right or one wrong. However, in this project, the one that matches my ice cream lump is the best choice. So the lesson, try to maintain a steady tension in your work so all the pieces will fit together properly in the end. To finish the ice cream, I'll first hide the tail end of the cone, then sew the pink lump to the cone, adding some stuffing before finishing off and hiding the pink tail. Up next, let's talk stitch style. This is something that can also change the size of your finished piece due to the tightness of the stitches, as well as how each individual stitch looks. Have you ever noticed that a crochet sweater, for example, looks a little different than a crochet doll or a toy? That each stitch just looks kind of different. Both are single crochet stitches, or in my example they are, but for the most common way, this is the one you'll see used in clothing or blankets, the yarn goes over the hook for both movements of the stitch. So first you insert the hook through the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops on the hook. This gives you a single crochet stitch that almost looks like a little V. It's a little looser than the other options we'll go over, and that means the final project is a little larger and the final piece has a little more movement to it. Decreasing using the yarn over method, you would insert the hook through the front loop of the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert your hook through both loops of the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And this is the finished ball using the yarn over method. Unstuffed so far, but you can still see those little V-shaped stitches already. Next, it's the one I feel most people think of when you talk about the tight X kind of stitches for amigurumi. This is achieved by using a yarn under technique, and this will make the stitches tighter, but be warned, it takes a bit of practice to get used to this without getting stitches so tight that you can't get a hook into them. So to do the yarn under stitch, you complete the same single crochet, but take care that the yarn goes under the hook. This can be especially tricky for the second half of the stitch, but with practice and patience, you can have the polished looking amigurumi stitches that we all dream of. The decrease of this stitch is performed by inserting the hook in the front loop of the first stitch, yarn under, pull up a loop, insert the hook through both loops of the next stitch, yarn under, pull up a loop, then yarn under and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And last, we'll look at the Made by Jody 666 special single crochet stitch, the Franken stitch. I start by doing a yarn under for the first half of the stitch and a yarn over for the second half of the stitch. This was completely by accident, actually. I'm a self-taught crocheter and I didn't realize there were different ways to complete the same stitch. And for whatever reasons, this is how I figured a single crochet should go. I think it was the least amount of hook motion, if that makes sense, so each stitch was a little bit easier to make. Made sense to me at the time. Anyway, to decrease, you insert the hook in the front loop of the next stitch, yarn under, pull up a loop, insert the hook through both loops of the next stitch, yarn under, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. This stitch seems like a good balance, for me at least. It's easier than a yarn under, and the stitches are tighter than a yarn over, and the final stitch is somewhere that looks to me to be closer to an X than to a V. And here you can see the final comparison. The largest ball is the yarn over, the smallest is the yarn under, and my way is in the middle. After they are stuffed, you can see the stitch definitions a bit better as well. So that is it, tension and yarn over versus yarn under. Let me know in the comments which style of single crocheter you are. Thanks for watching.